friends, welcome to the anthropology optional. Today we are going to discuss about day 4 answer writing. Okay, day 4 anthropology answer writing. So, the first question, present the detailed comparison between the cultural relativism and ethnocentrism. Okay, here question asking about the comparison. When they are asking about the comparison, try to write the similarities and at the same time differences also. So first of all, I'll give some information here. First, cultural relativism, the word coined by African American philosopher Alain Laurie Locke. Oh, remember this. And after that, cultural relativism studied by the Franz Bias also. And before that, I'll tell you here, cultural relativism is the widespread reaction against the ethnocentrism like other social science are highly ethnocentric. In this opposition, 19th century anthropologist, who is that person? Franz Bias, arrived at the proposition which is described as a cultural relativism. And at the same time, see, according to the Samnon, here ethnocentrism is that the view of the things in which one's own group is the center of everything. So they believe that one's own group is the center of everything, and the other are scaled or rated the reference to it. Okay, next. So come to the answer. So here I mention cultural relativism is important value. Please mention anthropologist name also. Okay. So cultural relativism is an important value in the anthropology, that is the polar opposition to the ethnocentrism. Relativism is an anthropological approach that emphasizes on understanding any particular culture through the logic or meaning of that culture only, which is under the observation. This is the important. And in cultural relativism and ethnocentrism, it's referred to judgment of other people culture, values or customs through the prism of one's own. Okay, and it arises due to each group considering its culture as the most natural and best way of living. Next, come to the differences. So here I mention the differences. Cultural relativism is there. It's a culturally sensitive and it does not judge other cultures. Ethnocentrism is culturally insensitive. And cultural relativism, it's a open-minded, and ethnocentrism is a closed-minded. Okay. See, and here I give some extra point. I give some extra points. There is cultural relativism. There is a no comparison, and ethnocentrism comparison is a present. And it's a subjective, it's objective, inclusive and exclusive, and culturally sensitive, culturally insensitive. And next, cultural relativism, it promotes the cooperation and it includes the respect to tolerance for diversity. But ethnocentrism, it was like see, generally abstract the cultural diffusion and act as a barrier against cooperation between the any two cultures. Next, it open to new visits and knowledge, promotes the world peace and posture of the natural neutrality. See, remember, whenever you are writing the differences, just focus on those areas. If you write the cultural relativism and ethnocentrism, there is a similarities and differences. There is a small differences only. So, okay, just remember that things also. And similarities, because sometimes similarities or differences we feel like both are same, but there is a thoda sa different. Just remember that. So similarities, both present and extremist views. Okay, and what is that? Now we will see here. While the ethnocentrism learns towards the intolerance and cultural relativism learns towards the incredible high tolerance of the cultural futures. So here I give an example. Elizabeth Jacinther says that cultural relativism is and often used to justify the tradition described by dominant or powerful class. For example, for justifying the fundamental views. Example I wrote here, practice of sati before socio-religious reforms movement in India. Okay, and both have a negative connotations. Matlab here see I wrote extreme the ethnocentrism gives rise. What is extreme ethnocentrism gives? Racism, human rights violation, and a lack of understanding our own culture. Okay, and for example, here ISIS terrorism like that. And if you come to the extreme cultural relativism, it justifies the traditional in human practices. Okay, next I take the here French bias view. So French bias opposes the cultural and rational superiority of while the people proposed the concept of cultural relativism to counter the social evil, and all cultural patterns are equally valid should be viewed objectively in terms of own logic. So next, come to the conclusion. Please don't write conclusion. I am just giving for information only. I wrote here conclusion. Don't mention conclusion in your answer. Okay, next here. Due to the issues in both approaches, anthropologist implies what is sought in the middle ground. So, see, this is here, it's always impossible to unbiased while comparing the culture, but this biasness may be due to one of its own cultural affiliation or due to one's understanding or perception of the human rights and ethics. Hence, it is important for anthropologists today to understand another culture without need or approach or disapproving of it. And remember one thing, whenever you're writing introduction part, body part, or conclusion part, just to focus on structure and word limit also very important, and don't make mistakes like this because here my words are going like extra. It's come out from the margin. Don't do this, and don't mention this conclusion words like that. Okay, and I give some more extra information here because we are not remember everything what we are writing now, so that's why I give thoda sa extra information because at least we can remember 3 4 lines of information. So that's why I gave some extra information. Don't think madam said every time write a conclusion in 3 4 lines and she gave itna bada extra information. Because of this information maybe it will be useful for your examination. That's why I gave thoda more information, and I gave here also cultural relativism and ethnocentrism views because in final exam you can write good answer. That's why only I am giving extra information. And I gave some examples also here extra. This is important and you can write in your exam also. See, in North America, eating dog is a barbaric, and Hindu culture, eating beef is immoral, and cousin marriages is Muslim. So, and polyandry practice of Kasa tribe is of Uttarakhand. So, you can use these examples also in your exam. And next question, come to the nature of the culture. So when you are asking question about the culture, okay, nature of culture. So what you can write here? This is the important thing. See, first take the definition of anthropologist. So here I used the Taylor definition. So in his book Primitive Culture, he defined the definition. Culture is a complex of whole including knowledge, values, beliefs, moral laws, customs, or any capable acquired by men and a member of the society. And after that, see here, I wrote here about the culture. First of all, culture is a system. Okay, so culture is a system. Matlab culture. So culture is a system. Matlab complex of whole consisting of elements and integrating with each other. Next, cultural is a system. In these non-material elements and material elements. So in material elements, material objects only, but non-material elements, there is a values, morals, and attitudes, and cognitive. Sorry, cognitive and normative. So in cognitive, you here it's a broad cultural ideology and frame for viewing the designing and understanding the everything and belief. But if come to the normative, there is a morals and folkways. There is a morals. Morals matlab see here violation considering the offense. It's a negative sanctions. Okay, and folkways it's usual way of doing this do not entail any serious penalties. Okay, so you can write some examples also. Next, culture is diverse. So here I use the French bias view. So you can also use any anthropologist view if it is related to this. Okay. Next, culture is learn. Okay, culture is diverse. Culture is learn. Why culture is diverse? Because if there is a in society. See here, all the human societies have the culture. Okay, each society have certain cultural elements of its own. So that's why culture is a diverse. And diversity of culture brought the cultural relativism. Next, culture is learn. See, for example, before independence India, after independence India, also there is a so much of difference in culture after the globalization and LPG reforms. We know these all those things. Just remember the things. And I gave here one example. Okay, Krober, I gave about the anthropologist view also here. And after that, culture is based on the based on symbols. Okay, based on symbols, matlab like language, gestures. Okay, it helps to learn like interpret the different cultural values. Okay, and I use here Taylor. Okay, again, and culture is a shared of its manifestation of the historical process of the society under one, and culture is a unique to human being. Okay, and I used again anthropologist. Next, come to the conclusion part. I used anthropologist view, and the nature of the culture is such that is a manifestation of what we are as a human being. I give very simple. Next, come to the discuss. Here they are asking about the discuss. Keywords and keywords are very important to write answer. Why? Because if you understand the keywords, you can give very good answer. Just learn the keywords of UPSC. Okay, and I will explain I will explain 2 3 days after that. I will explain also. So now discuss the development of the concept of cultural anthropology. See here their question asking about the development. See, remember this, when they are asking about the development, you should mention the development areas also, and views of anthropologist, time period also you can use here. Okay, so first I used here culture definition, and after that I used the anthropologist view. So you can start with anthropologist view also. Okay, I use the Taylor definition. You people already know about the Taylor definition. Next, come to the development of the concept of culture. So here the culture concept was developed in the early 1900, at a time when American anthropologist was on its infancy, and cultural area is a concept of a cultural anthropology in which geographical region and the time sequence. Next, initially understanding the culture as described as a classification, sorry, classical evolutionist like E.B. Taylor, L.H. Morgan, okay, and assume the cultural development in a uniform and progressive manner also in unilinear evolution. And after that, but other anthropologists they said like Franz Brass and some other anthropologists they said, for example here Franz Brass and diffusionist school rejected the unilinear evolution of the culture, because why ఎందుకు sorry, because of the reason lack of evidences. Okay, why that is rejected matlab lack of evidences. And diffusionist like see G. Smith, he identified the diffusion as the process of responsible for development and speed of culture. This is important, and this is also important. You can use this in your examination. It will be give more weightage. And 20th century, 20th century, there is a many anthropologists to develop to understand the culture. Example, this is also very important. Malinowski, so he is studied the cultural through the functionalism and structural functionals and functioning understanding of the culture. Next, neo-evolutionist, it's try to identify the unit of the measurement of the culture and development various perspective to understand the culture. And here I used one more example. This is also important. Stewart, the culture ecology, and Lisa, one more example here. These are the see students also. Remember this. Sometimes they are asking questions about the theories direct. The students anthropologist like for example LP Vidyarthi, EB Taylor, everyone can remember this much. Matlab, everyone studied about the main anthropologist, but sometimes they are asking about the questions of students of also. So just remember that also. And mention he is mentioned the cultural through energy harassment bias. And after that, anthropologist. So here I used again anthropologist, what they are studying. Okay, and the conclusion, so just read this paragraph very carefully. And conclusion, today with the help of these theoretical perspective, the whole perspective of understanding the culture and its development and functions of the culture has improved and leading the development. So this is important, and just write the conclusion also very simple way. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like the video, like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any doubts regarding these questions, you can comment. If possible, I will give reply also. Thank you.